Hi. I feel like my mom gave me the greatest gift she could give me, and at the same time, the heaviest weight I could carry with me. It all started with this story that she would tell me over and over again since I was a kid. One day, at the final stage of her pregnancy, when I was almost ready to rock the world, she was resting on her bed when suddenly she felt this deep, beautiful feeling through her body and her skin. She touched me in her belly, and she looked up to the sky, and she actually felt like I was speaking to her. Yeah, weird. And she heard that she would give birth to a very happy, very successful human being that not only would spread light to the world, but would even might become the country's president. Yeah, I managed to be cocky even before I was born. I still don't remember saying that. And my mom is quite crazy, actually. But I find it amazing how when we are kids, our parents really are like the main or the only reference for us to understand reality and understand the world. So even before we have our own sense of identity, we believe anything they tell us, and they contribute to the foundations of the sense of identity we are going to develop later on. So, of course, as a kid, I believed her story. And respecting her, I honored that story. And that's how my life quest, trying to become with this anxious feeling that I should and I was supposed to be happy and successful and enlightened, that was my life quest now. So I ask you, how many of your standards and your own definitions of success in life come from whatever or whoever you chose to listen to at some point of your life? And to be honest, it can get even stronger later on. For example, when my brother, he learned the two main first things that you celebrate at home, right? Because now he had more autonomy and he was more independent and he had more freedom. What are these two things? Walking and talking. Awesome. Like now it's almost like if he could become whoever he would want to be. It's just like now that baby that did nothing before can go around somewhere else. So like, don't lose him, please. And what are the questions and the answers that he's going to come up with? Like, we were curious about it. Cool, so what happened when he just started school? What were the first two things that they took away from him? Walking and talking. Sit down where you are and shh. Now it's time to listen to the ones who really own the truth. And don't you dare making personal or emotional questions. So, in some way, we start believing and we are taught that knowledge and wisdom are kind of like fixed final sciences that we get from others. And that in some way it seems like my personal experience and my feelings have no value compared to whatever my teacher or my parents would say. This is how I learned to make my first decisions. First, my mom told me I would be successful. Then in school I learned that others would tell me how to be successful. So, of course, I learned to decide upon others' opinion. I would try to make my parents feel proud and my teachers feel proud with my grades, And, well, I wanted to compete with my friends to see who would perform better. And, oh, the ladies. Yeah, girls. Like, they would crush me so much because I would be so sensitive. Like, if they would reject me or they would like me, that would make the whole difference in my life. Like, I can still remember how I was crushed when my first ever love was holding hands with that stupid, older 9-year-old, right? So, it's hard. We really feel the need to belong. And this is something that comes from back then, very old story. Like, we used to need to belong to the group, otherwise we would die alone in the wild. Like, that's scary. Like, survival technique, right? Like, I need you, guys. Please, don't let me out here freezing. So please, please accept me. Even if I don't know who I am, for you to accept me. So, my question here is, how far are you willing to take this survival technique nowadays, when you're not under so much danger? Are you really willing to sacrifice who you are in order just to feel loved? That's exactly what I did for some years. First, I changed my haircut, then I dropped out dance classes because, of course, boys should play sports. I even kissed a girl I didn't even like just because my friends told me I was late. Sorry for that. And I even chose business college just because it was broad, so more companies would welcome that degree, among many other examples. So, what are the things that you are doing right now just because of others, even if in daily life we say we're not going to do things just because of others? Even further, what are you giving up on doing in your life just because you think no one is going to support you? I really felt like I had to wear masks, one mask after the other. And the closer I thought I was to belong, the further I was. Because how come I would belong by wearing masks that were not who I really was? And this is like kind of obvious, right? Like, how could you really belong in your essence by who you really think you represent in this life? By masks. But we do it, right? Who's doing it on Instagram today? So, I got scared. I looked around myself, and I saw the same people. I saw all my friends, at some point, they all looked the same. Everyone liked the same things. Everyone wanted to get to the same places. Everyone was buying the same products, even if they didn't need them. But the main issue wasn't that they were buying or being the same. The main issue is that, on top of that, they were unhappy. They were doing the same patterns over and over again and being unhappy and complaining about everything else. Living like this weekend kind of culture where you get on Friday and you're just celebrating because you have a way out of your own life. That didn't make sense to me. That got me scared. Because I realized that what was bothering me about others were exactly the same things I was noticing about myself. And if I wasn't doing something different, I was part of the problem. And that scared the shit out of me. Like, am I gonna waste my life, my time, my energy with things that I don't even like just because of the fake feeling of belonging? Fake one. No, I don't want to live a fake life. So I knew I had to do something different, right? Otherwise I would get where everyone was. So when everyone was looking around and trying to get advice from people on what to do and what would be the right choice. What's the right path? What's the right decision to make? And we look for advice outside because that's what we learned in school. When everyone would try to do that, I tried to do the opposite and I tried to look inwards. What do I feel is right to me? What do I feel? And it wasn't an easy task to shift that. Because if we have learned to live based on our head only, and we are so used to think, it's even sad, but it takes a while to remember how to feel. But it made sense to me. Deep down, even if it was harder, even if people around me didn't understand, it was worth it. It was so meaningful to me that I even got a business idea. I was like, well, I'm 19, almost 20. I'm in college. Why can't I share these things that are working with myself with high school and college students in a way that we can together find out about life, not focusing on the answers, the final answers, but the questions instead. And I was so happy, I was just so excited. I was just like, yeah, I finally got what I want to do. Yes, I waited for this idea so long. I waited for it so long. So I didn't hold myself, and I went to tell my best friend. And after listening to my kid-alike kind of pitch, he made some seconds of reflection. He looked deep into my eyes, and he told me something. He asked me something that I will never forget. He asked me, Mark, how come you're going to make that happen if you are no one yet? No one? It hurts. It really hurts. And for a while, I was just in shock. But honestly, later on, I realized that I understood what my friend was trying to say. We are highly educated in this social standard in which we need to constantly be fighting to reach this unachievable, idealized, utopian, crazy illusion kind of status of being. How am I going to feel someone? How am I going to feel good about myself if I'm constantly feeling the pressure to be better, faster, stronger, smarter, healthier, prettier, and on top of that, find my life purpose, become a huge change maker leader, and save the world? Why not? How am I going to embrace who I am? So I understood my friend, because he was suffering for the same things that I was suffering. What my friend forgot about is that I'm not only someone already. I'm Mark. Since the day I was born. And the fact that I'm Mark right now gives me freedom. I can choose whatever limits me on my own choice. What's possible, what's right or wrong, what's easy or hard. So my question to you is, who are you? Are you someone? Are you no one? Even more, who are you letting yourself be? Who are you allowing yourself to become? Or who are you limiting yourself not to be? Are you choosing that with your best survival technique and tool? Your mind, who's always analyzing what's right or wrong? Who is always analyzing what's safe? Who's always analyzing how to create comfort out of chaos? Or are you choosing with the true source of your life? That is pulsing force of nature. your heart that came developed much before your mind. What about the heart path? Are you feeling yourself? Are you just surviving? Or are you actually expressing life itself through an expression of your own being? I chose that path. And it was pretty hard. But now, 4 or 5 years later, after 4 or 5 years of hard path, I got that company, that crazy idea, to something that employs 12 people, that has been giving workshops and talks and camps in 6 countries around the world, that I'm feeling just like I belong to a place, like I flow in something that is mine. I own my own path. And it's so beautiful because I have the personal purpose, I have the social success, I have the freedom. But right now, what strikes me is that I haven't reached that unachievable place yet. And I will never achieve it because there's no right path. There's only what's my path and what's your path. And I used to judge what would be the best way to go. But now, after achieving so much that I wanted to achieve, I understand that they're not the best choices. They're just the ones I made. Because nowadays, when I look at people who made different choices, I'm even envious sometimes. Because every light I've got in my life right now, I found out that comes together with shadow. Every light creates shadow. They are 2 sides of the same phenomenon. Why are we believing still that we're going to reach heaven and that we should avoid hell? Why aren't we understanding that there's no right path because good and bad are always going to live together because they need each other? In the same way, life needs death. In the same way, my old me has to die in order for my new me to be born. In the same way, that day and night. So, why are we running away from darkness? Why are we running away from our fears, our pain? Why are we running away from the things that deep down, essentially, could mean our own process of healing? Isn't that what pain is about? If I fall cycling and I get blood and my knee hurts, it's because my whole nervous system is getting a message saying there's something wrong there. Take your immune system up. You need to solve that. So my question here is, what are you avoiding to heal by hiding or pretending that you're not in pain? How many authentic opportunities you're going to miss just because you're waiting for the right choice that is going to be based only on light? What's the chaos in your life that you're still not embracing, ignoring that by embracing darkness, you might be able to find the most genuine and powerful piece of light? I don't think great leaders changed things by trying to change things. I don't think they wanted the perfect life. I think they embraced so much their own self-doubt. They embraced so much what touched their heart. Darkness was such a part of their decisions, and they made fear and pain such a good friend that not only pain would come and they would ask, hey, what do you have to teach me today? But they would thrive because if darkness is your friend, how is darkness going to stop you? So before you chase your dream, I'm going to ask you to face your nightmare. Before you try to change the world, I'm going to ask you if you're trying to do that because it's your deep call coming from your whole soul, or is it just a way to escape the fact that your room is a mess? I know it hasn't been an easy at all path. Believe me when I say that pain really still hurts me. But in some way, I recover faster. And in some way, by embracing it, I managed to embrace my whole self. And then I don't need to sacrifice myself to belong to others, because I feel I'm belonging to nature and life itself. And I'm just an expression of it. So, if you feel the call to adventure, if you feel ready to take that path, even if it's a hard one, whenever you're ready, please know from the bottom of your heart that you're not alone. Thank you.